Hi everyone, my name is Anna Sokolov, and I'm here to talk about the vegetarian diet and its relation to type 2 diabetes. So, to start us off, I would like to put it into a quick statistic so that you could visualize it better. So, currently in the United States, over 37 million Americans are living with type 2 diabetes, according to the CDC, and to put that into a better perspective, because I know not everyone can visualize 37 million, that's almost one in every eight people. And you may have a lot of questions, and hopefully, this video will help you answer some of those questions. But some of you may wonder what the risks are, and so on and so forth. But some simple lifestyle changes, such as diet, can significantly lower your risk. And I hope to get into some details in the next few moments. So, to start off, I want to give some overarching information and just the basics on some type 2 diabetes. So, type 2 diabetes is a chronic disease where your body doesn't produce enough insulin or cannot make it entirely on its own. And without insulin, this leads to problems such as high blood sugar levels, and over time can deteriorate your cardiovascular health as well as damage other organs such as your kidney and your pancreas, which are all vital for a sustainable life. And while genetics can play some factor in this, most of the time it is solely based on environmental factors, your diet, your lifestyle, and your physical activity levels. But yet, out of all the things I've mentioned so far, diet seems to play the biggest role in all of it. So, through my research, I have found that a vegetarian diet can not only help reduce your risk of type 2 diabetes, but can better your overall health. All right, now let's get into the specifics on what a vegetarian diet is. A vegetarian diet is a diet that focuses on plant based foods such as vegetables and fruits, whole grains, seeds and nuts, and beans and lentils, and may sometimes include dairy products and eggs. All of these foods have something in common, and that is that they are naturally high in things like fiber and low in fats, specifically saturated fat. And all of these have some specific factors in common in that they are good at controlling blood sugar, but also good at having you maintain a good and healthy weight. So, through my research, I found an article from the Center of Disease Control called Fiber Plays a Major Role in Managing Diabetes from the year 2026. And a direct quote is that fiber slows down how quickly sugar enters the bloodstream, helping to prevent spikes in blood sugar. So, one of the studies I did look at was a human observational study, and this was conducted by, excuse my pronunciation, Sadija and his colleagues in 2016. This study followed over 20,000 adults, and they're examining their diets and the health outcomes that come along with that. Participants are supposed to take questionnaires regarding their food and their dietary choices, and researchers would track who developed type 2 diabetes. So, specifically to this study, researchers found that individuals who had a healthier, more plant based diet had a significantly lower chance for developing the disease. And as previously mentioned, foods like whole grains, fruits, vegetables, and plant based proteins were the most used and seemed to be the most protective against type 2 diabetes. So, simple things such as avoiding red meat or having a limited intake can significantly lower your risk. And if that wasn't enough for you, I have a second study on a randomized human trial. This study was by a scientist named Kaliova in 2011. This was a more different study. Researchers compared vegetarians against people who had already had developed type 2 diabetes and their diets and the progression. So, to clarify, this study was trying different diets to people who already had type 2 diabetes. So participants were randomly assigned a diet and were monitored over a span of a few years. So, specifically to the group that was assigned a vegetarian diet, researchers noticed a greater weight loss, improved insulin levels, and reduced oxidative stress. So, not only can a vegetarian diet prevent diabetes, but it can help manage people who already have the disease. So, again, you may be asking why this works, and overall, the main point is vegetarian diets are this effective because they are lower in saturated fat and high in fiber. They help maintain a good body weight and can help reduce inflammation and can help your body better process sugars and lowering your risk of overall insulin resistance, but yet these all can improve your vital organs, the systems, and how they run, and can even help your gut microbiome, which is important as well. So, I know a lot of us do like eating meat, and no, this does not mean that you have to cut out all meat immediately. Meat has its own benefits for you, but simple changes can help make a big difference. Everything is good in moderation, but sometimes you may think to replace meat with beans or dairy products. Instead of choosing white bread, you could choose whole grain options and refined carbs. And simply adding more fruits and vegetables into your meal never hurts. These are just some of the many small steps that you can take to help improve your overall health and make a better diet for yourself. So, in conclusion, a vegetarian diet is not a bad idea, and all of this is backed by research and the CDC. And by making simple health choices, you too can decrease your risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Thank you for watching and make good choices.